couple of years ago, I got to visit Austin, Texas, and they had in front of the state capitol a carving of the Ten Commandments, which is from this week's Torah portion. We get the Ten Commandments, but what they didn't have was a maybe even more useful tool for governing that comes also from the Torah this very week. In Parshat Yitro, before you get to the Ten Commandments, you have the story of Moses meeting up with his father Yitro and taking advice from him on how not to become overwhelmed with the tasks that he faces. And the advice is essentially delegate. Don't try to do everything yourself. But almost more significant is the fact that Moses, who stands on principle, who just faced down with the Pharaoh, with this super strong individual, and who will face down with rebellion after rebellion and even argue with God, Moses is open to take advice from this guy, from his father-in-law. And it seems to be, he's probably pulling from the same piece of wisdom that the sages would say on an argument, L'shem Shemaim, for the sake of heaven, that when you argue for the sake of heaven, it will endure, and when you don't, it won't endure. Meaning, when you're arguing a point, you recognize that even if you lose, you win. Meaning that you're trying to get to the right answer, the answer that's best for the situation or for the big picture, whatever it might be. And that even if you're proven wrong, that's to the good. Because if you're proven wrong, that means that you're wrong. And it's good to switch. And it's not, your ego isn't tied up into it. Your ego is tied up in doing the right thing. And the way you get from being overwhelmed in life, part of what Moshe learned, is by subordinating your own ego needs to a larger cause. And when he does that, his burden is lightened, and he gets closer to being able to hear what the right thing is, because the right thing isn't what he thinks, it's whatever is right. And he wants to get himself to being able to think that way. This is all important. This is what's needed in our personal lives to recognize that we should argue for the sake of heaven, not for our own ego needs, but to find the right answer, and to be humble enough to be able to hear the truth from anyone, wherever it may come, and to be flexible enough to be able to really hear and adapt when we learn something new. Shabbat Shalom.